So today, among other things, I think I'm going to talk about mullets. Just bear with me for a second. Hi everybody, today I am going to be going over my top 10 planner essentials, planner supplies, however you want to look at it, the things that if I was on a desert island or if I was only allowed X number of planner things and I had to get rid of everything else, that this is the group I would go with. I'm making this video at the beginning of June. By the beginning of July, maybe it'll change, but currently this is kind of what I'm going with and it makes me very happy. Now, what you may ask, but Cindy, what do mullets have to do with planner supplies? My list actually neatly falls into two groups, which I'm going to refer to as the business in the front and the party in the back. Meaning, the first 5 things are like the absolute musts, the absolute essentials. And then the next 5 things are the things that kind of really bring the joy to planning for me. So like if I was only given an option for like the bare essentials, and the first 5, the business in the front would be the ones I'd go with. But if I had a little bit more room to expand, then these 5 after that would be the ones to go with. So without further ado, I guess there's a bit of further ado because there is currently a kitten running around my house. If you did not watch my last live plan with me, I talked a bit about it there. My next vlog in a couple of weeks, I'll talk about it then. But we have adopted another kitten, one of our local area like shelter rescue type situations. His name is Odin. He's adorable. He's an orange man. And there he is, playing with my lens cap. Anyway, he is awesome, but he is not one of my planner essentials yet. Anyways, let's start off first with the business in the front essentials. And the first one is my Google Calendar. Like, if I couldn't have anything else, my Google Calendar is the #1 jam right there. It used to be that I would keep my entire family schedule in the monthly section of whatever planner I was using, often the Erin Condren for a long time. And I still do that in my monthly, in my Moxie life, but now it's mostly just a way to kind of look at the month ahead of time. I don't schedule out in my planner. That's all on my Google Calendar. The whole reason we shifted over to that was because my husband and my kids, they didn't give a fuck about my paper planner. They just wanted to know when the doctor's appointments were. So now it's on a shared calendar. Sunny, my oldest, has their own calendar that they share with us that has all of their stuff on it. Jesse has some stuff he shares to the calendar. We also have a Layla walks calendar. You know, we have a bunch of Google calendars that keep our family and like personal lives on track, and I can't, like, if I couldn't have anything else, if this category is the business in the front, my Google Calendar would by far be like the smooth, like gelled down very beginning of the front, the most necessary bit. If you have not moved over to keeping like your family schedule or whatever digitally, I recommend you give it a try. Even if you are a tried and true paper person like I am, it's very helpful both to be able to not have to carry your planners around with you. I don't carry my planner around with me. I've got back problems and a fistula. In like one arm has a fistula, one arm has nerve damage. So I can't really carry a heavy planner around with me, but I do carry my phone. And so I can check my calendar whenever I'm making a new appointment. It just makes things a lot simpler, but I still do all the paper planning goodness, as you'll see later in this list. Not this next item though. If the Google Calendar is the heart of my family life planning, then my ClickUp, which I just did a video about and I will link it down below, is the heart of my business, like work planning. My ClickUp and something else, but we'll talk about that in a second. ClickUp is where I keep all of my editorial calendar, my various freelance jobs, everything like that. That's kind of my project manager software. And like I said, I did a whole video showing how I use that, but if I somehow didn't have access to it anymore, it would be really tough for me to take a few minutes and get it all back, recover it, start over again. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen. I used to do a lot of that planning in Google Calendar and then in a couple of other places, but doing it all in ClickUp for the most part has just made things a lot easier for me work-wise, especially now that my kidney brain fog is taking over and it's harder and harder for me to focus on a bunch of stuff at the same time. Keeps me from missing deadlines, etc. But while I really am relying on these two digital things, especially for work, it's important to me to be able to visually see something, to physically touch things, to help me really wrap my mind around the work I need to get done. I am definitely a visual person. I am definitely a tactile person. I'm definitely a write things down person. For work specifically, I could not function without my Kanban board and Post-its. I'm just going to count those together because the Kanban board is just a pretty clear board without the Post-its. This quarter, actually, I have not been great at following through on my plan, mostly because my perspective on things changed about halfway through the quarter. And my shit just shifted. On top of that, I'm feeling so crappy that I have been taking a bit of a step back from taking on extra projects right now because it has just been too hard for me to keep up with, and I need my mental energy for my family. So it's currently not helping me as much as it usually does, but I do plan to reset it soon for the third quarter, and I'm hoping to get back into the jam of it. It's not that it wasn't working. I just didn't want to take the time to redo it with some of the new priorities that I kind of came into. I'll just deal with that next quarter. But the point is, having the big visual representation of all the projects I have to do on my wall is massively motivating for me. Now, you're probably going to expect that my next thing I'm going to list is my bullet journal, my Moxie Life, one of those things. It's not. It's a simple top-coiled steno type notebook. Like, the ones I prefer are the ones that either have lines or maybe grid. I prefer lines. I just want a basic top-coiled little smaller notebook that I can use for making my grocery list that I can bring with me. Remember what I said before about having a bad back? Even my bullet journal is too heavy for me to take places. So like, I work in my bullet journal for like planning and for notes and for lists and everything like that. But having a top coiled, just little spiral notebook that I can use basically for making grocery lists and other stuff like that is really helpful for me. And it just helps when on days when I don't want to look at my planner or when I need to leave lists for other people. There's just something about having a bullshit notebook that I'm not afraid to get fucked up, that I'm not worried about putting on the internet. It's just a shitty notebook that I use for all of the things that a shitty notebook is good for. I would take that over any planner because that would be the thing that I know I would use even on my worst days. And then finally, that notebook and the Post-its would be nothing without a pen. My current favorite, and the one I don't anticipate moving off of anytime soon, although this month I really am focusing on using fine liners, is my Pentel Energel RTX in 07. I love this pen for multiple reasons. The needle tip is wonderful. The ink is very smooth and very dark. It's something you can go buy a pack of at like Target, so it's easily accessible. It's not the cutest pen, but it really works well for me. My husband is like a Pilot G2 kind of guy, and he is starting to get pulled over to the Energel RTX side with me. So that's why my pens have been disappearing. But it's a good thing I can go to Target and buy a bunch of them so that I have extras. So that is my business in the front section. Those things. My Kanban board, my digital planning tools, a janky notebook, and a pen that I love. Those 5 things. I can get through life with those and be fine. But what are we here for if not for the hobby of planning? The hobby of decorative planning, of functional decoration, of all of those things, the colors and the fun and the everything. That's the party in the back. And while my life would be just fine, I'd be able to handle my shit with the 5 things in the business in the front category, it's the party in the back category that brings the fun. And so for me, I consider both of those categories, business and party, to be equally necessary in my life. One is necessary for keeping me on track, and the other is necessary for keeping me from losing my shit. This is where the Moxie Life Planner comes into play, because what I have discovered by using Google Calendar, by using ClickUp, I don't actually need a weekly planner. I don't need a weekly planner to function. But I'm more engaged with my life. I am more cognizant of what is going on. To be really honest, I need the extra reminder of writing things down to remember them. Like having things on a Google Calendar, having notifications pop up on my Apple Watch, like one that just did. All of those things, they help me. But my kidney brain fog from being in kidney failure is so bad right now that having the extra oomph of writing things down and spending the time to put in stickers and to like sit with my planner in the morning for 5 or 10 minutes and just process my day as it's coming and wake up. The first part of waking up is paper planners in your cup, ? And my Moxie Life weekly planner has been outstanding for that. Not only that, but it has the goal stuff added in. And as I have been trying to really embrace this idea of replenishing my life, it's my word of the year, a video on that's coming soon as well, and trying to not focus so hard on getting all the things done and more on doing the things that really matter to me, having that weekly accountability in the Moxie life is also very helpful and really good at helping me kind of pause and slow down on a Sunday before I start streaming or after I start streaming, when I go through the reflection and I start really thinking about those things. So I'm loving it. Don't copyright me. Now, pretty much everything else on this list has to do with fancying up my planner. I'm not putting my work planner on this list because with the janky notepad and ClickUp, I can do exactly what I'm doing right now with my daily planner and everything else. I like using the daily planner. It works real well for me, but I could get by without it. Same with my bullet journal. Like, I love my bullet journal, but if I have a janky notebook, I don't need my bullet journal, and it's not gonna add as much value in terms of number of spots on my list the way that the Moxie Life does. So everything else here are just some additions to add some decoration. First and foremost is my Zig Clean Color dot pens. Now, I'm not putting my Mildliners on here. I'm not putting my Tombos on here. My Pit Artist pens, none of those things. The reason I'm using the dot pens specifically is that more so than any other, whoops, there's a kitten knocking over my water. Come here, buddy. It's a little Odin man. You're not a planner essential. You're a kitten essential. He's gonna yank my hairs out. He is a bold motherfucker. We are in for an experience with this little shit. Oh! And even if I don't do anything else in my planner, adding the dots to be able to check them off as check boxes or in my habit tracker adds color to my shit, and I love color, and it's a simple way to do it. I tend to use those more than I use the highlighters, I've noticed. Like, they have quickly become the most used, like, tool in my planners that isn't my pen. Like, I use them more than I use my washi tape cutter. I use them more than I use my little slice tool. I use them more than any other markers in my collection. I use them more often than I use the Pentel Energel RTX because I swap around pens. They have just firmly cemented themselves in my planner oeuvre as both functional and decorative, and I fucking love that. I did a video recently looking at the new colors. This feels like I'm like sending you to 15 different videos, but really, a lot of this is relevant. I did a video recently looking at different colors and potential dupes. I'll leave it linked down below. For my next one, I said washi tape, but thinking about it, that's not really specific. I have myself hundreds of rolls of washi tape. If I had to pick any sort of washi tape, I would pick a pack of rainbow colors, individual colors of the rainbow in the skinny, I think, is it the 5mm? Like the not ultra skinny, but like the standard kind of skinny size. I would pick that. And the reason I would go with that is because I find, much like the Zig Clean Color dot pens, I find that kind of washi tape to be both functional and decorative. It is functional because I can use it to mark stretches of time, whether it's a full day project, like my gutters that are coming up at the end of this week, where I wanted to put the tape down the whole day because we didn't have a time, we just knew that they were coming at some point during the day. Or over the course of a week, we're watching my friend's cat this week. So all week I've got the washi tape stretching across the top to remind me that this whole week we're watching the cat. On my monthly layout, I use it to mark in vacations and things like that. I use it to section off areas of my planner to make it, so I have a spot for my blood pressure or whatever. But then I can also use it to add color and decoration. And if I have that rainbow set, I can layer different colors to create color schemes without needing a massive shit ton of washi, which I have. But I don't need it, but I like it. This next one is a little, how would I put this? It's not what I've been using a lot lately, but as I was thinking about different kinds of pens to utilize on things like washi tape or Krissyanne Designs stickers or whatever, a permanent marker really sounded important to me. And I have cycled through them from the Sakura Micro Perm to the Le Pen Permanent. I'm currently in my planner really using the Pilot Ultrafine Permanent. However, my old favorite, I even think it's discontinued now, but I have a shit ton because when it got discontinued, a bunch of people bought them for me. It's the Extra Fine Sharpie. I fucking love this. Not only does it work great on washi tape and on vinyl stickers, it also works really well for me. It's one of my favorite pens to letter with when I'm doing lettering on cardstock. So I needed to bring that in because if I needed a permanent marker, even though it's not one I've been using a lot of recently, if I was gonna pick one, I would go with Old Faithful. And then finally, the last bit of the party in the back, I was thinking about stickers. I love using stickers in my planner. I use the shit out of stickers in my planner. And if I could only pick one set, one bundle, one whatever, it was a toss up between like a functional kind of bundle from Krissyanne Designs or something else. And I ultimately went with her mini binder sheet bundle. I have this already with doodles in like the monochromatic sets of colors. Because if there's one thing I love, it is using icons in my planner. I love doodles, I love icons, and I love being able to color match. So a little set like that would be all I needed for probably a few months. Those are my 10 planner essentials, from business in the front to party in the back. These are all of the things that if I had to pare everything back, then this is what would work for me. Now, to be fair, I don't plan on paring everything back, but if I did, it's an interesting thought experiment. So I would love to hear from you in the comments below. What is your top item in each of those categories? What is your top planner item in business in the front and your top planner item in party in the back? Give me your planner supply mullets in the comment below. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and until next time, my friends, peace.